Welcome to episode 76 of the J Bunny's Music Hub podcast. I'm your host, J Bunny. Joining me on this episode is Jason Trenczer, currently a member of the bands Generation Kill, Thanatotic Desire, and the band Trenzer. Having Jay on the show sort of completes the lineup, as it were, of both the Pain method that he was previously in, as well as Thanatotic Desire, in that I have now had every member of those bands on the show. So it was cool to talk to Jay about all the different bands that he's in, bands he's been in. He's in a bunch of cover bands as well. This was a really funny interview. There was a lot of laughter between he and I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it. So without further ado, here's Jay.
What's up, everybody? It is J Bunny. I am here once again at Dingbatz, sitting outside in my car after a show. Well, still in the middle of a show, actually. Joining me today from the bands Thanatotic Desire and Generation Kill and Trenzer, Jason Trenczer. How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. And no one saw me do that. I gave you a little, hang loose thing with my hand, and I'm like, oh, wait, we're being recorded.
No video on this
No
one.
video. All right. So, there you go.
So, how you been, man?
I've been well. Haven't seen you since the Generation Kill show.
Like 2 months, month and a half ago?
Yeah.
Like early.
Dead by Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Thanatotic Desire.
That's right.
And Return to Darkness.
Yeah. So I feel like
all my friends, every band.
Well, it's like the last 2 times I've seen you, you're doing double duty.
Yeah.
So I first became aware of you because of Generation Kill back in 2012 when they were getting played on Liquid Metal. Saw the band live here for the first time with the band Kill Devil Hill.
Oh, you were at that one?
I was.
We had to set up the drums on the side of the stage, I believe, at that show.
Yeah, I remember Give Them Rope, their drummer, Chris Hamilton. He set up their drums on the floor.
Yeah, right on the side. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But it was a good show.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Carmine Appice. Or Peace, whatever you want to freaking call him. I got to meet Carmine because he was here coming to see his brother play.
Right, yeah, because Vinny was still in the band at the time.
And he's, if any of you have been to Dingbatz, I was by the backstage door.
Okay.
And he's walking on the street, across the street, like going past Dingo's. And I'm like, hey, Carmine! And I waved, and he's like, waves back, and he comes over and starts talking to us. I'm like, dude doesn't know me. That was really cool. And I started talking to him about Cactus.
Wow.
Because we used to do Evil, but their version of Evil.
Okay.
Which is so much better than, Derek and the Dominoes or anybody else.
All right.
So
there were so many people, if I remember correctly, there were so many just random famous metal people at that show because I think because of who was in the band.
it was, Rex was in
Pantera,
it,
yeah.
Vinny, and I'm like, who else was in it? I don't remember right now.
Well, I think those were the two. I think those were the two draws,
right.
Main draw. I mean, neither of those guys are in the band anymore.
Right, and then it was just like a guitar player like me and a singer like you.
Yeah. But those guys are still around. Still a great band. I had them on the show sometime within the last year. They played here at Dingbatz too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, freaking cool. Yeah, they got everybody coming here.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see Loudness.
I've come here as often as I can.
May 7th, it's a Thursday. I can't make it. I got students.
Oh, yeah.
I might have to cancel.
So I was going to ask you, because that's when I became aware of you, but can you tell me a bit about sort of your journey in music up until that point?
Up until then? Oh, well, shit. It started in high school. I started playing guitar in 10th grade. About 3 months later, I played my first show.
Wow.
Played in a punk band, because that's what you play.
Yeah.
3 months into playing guitar.
Right.
So we wrote our own songs, too. And then
Okay.
we did, like Ramones and attempted to do Sex Pistols and GBH and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what started. And then I got into playing rhythm guitar in a band that played this Concert Against Cancer, which was really cool. It was all the high schools in Rockland County. They played in, I think it was North Rockland. Someone will know and tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, that was like my first big show, and I literally took a little leak in my pants and lowered my guitar so no one could see the spot because I was so freaking scared because there were so many people there. And we played Driven to Tears by the Police, If Looks Could Kill by Heart, and I don't remember the other song. We played 3 songs.
Okay.
And I remember I played the first guitar lead, and I was playing for like 6 months at that point.
Okay.
I was like, but I only played like 2 punk shows, and they were in front of friends in a garage. So, I mean, that didn't make me nervous. But being on a stage with lights and people I didn't know pissed my pants.
All right.
Literally got a nice little hole, little spot right there. It was fucking funny. Anyway, that's what started it. And then I got a bunch of friends. We were doing covers in school. We were doing stuff like we were doing Iron Maiden, and we were the first band at Spring Valley High School to play Am I Evil? So I'm very proud of that.
All right.
So we were the first band to play Metallica at all. So, but that was like, okay, let's see how far back that goes. 85, 86.
All right.
So
Wow.
that was great. So that band was cool. We played Black Sabbath, and we played Maiden, we played Priest, and all the great metal bands, you know. So that was the first cover band I was in. And from there, I just went right to this band Mutilation with a bunch of people I met at Rockland Community College in '87. And that was the first time I met Machete.
Okay.
Was there. So he hooked me up with his friend Ronnie, who played drums, and then we got together, and I was just getting mad at Rob because he was playing guitar at that time, and he played everything wrong. Symptom of the Universe, everything. He just played it his way.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, you're playing it wrong. He's like, he can't deny it because, you know, he's like, so what? So what if I'm playing it wrong? I'm like, dude, but that's not the way you play it. So, but he wasn't in, then we started Mutilation. It was me, Louis Lehman, who was the first guitar player in Generation Kill, and Ronnie, and Dante Sosha, and Randall Salmon. Dante's in Undivided, the singer-guitar player. He was the singer. Randall was in, he started the NYDM.
Oh, okay.
So Randall was playing bass. And that was Mutilation. Then went to, that band went through a bunch of things. We got Machete in at one point. Did a three-piece version of it at one point when Louis quit. And then he got into MOD. I did this band Bad Seed, which was like Black Sabbath, Alice in Chainsy like stuff.
Okay.
And then we got signed to Rock World Sony, put out another album. Mutilation put out an album. We put out another album, Bad Seed. And I hope this isn't boring anybody, but I'm just trying to...
No, go.
I'm just trying to get it in chronological order here. And then I was in... I did Skrewface with Jim DeMaria of Heathen and Toxic.
I was wondering, because I was looking at your
my amp?
Yeah,
that's how old that amp is.
Okay.
That's from like, you know, I got that when I was in Bad Seed, so that was 95.
Because I saw you had the Thanatotic sticker, and you had a Gen Kill sticker, and it's a Skrewface in the middle. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's made of aluminum. I had a friend who got a plasma cutter, and he wanted to fuck with it and see what he can do. So he took a piece of scrap aluminum and drew Skrewface with this in it.
Right.
I'm like, yo, screwed it on there. Took off all the 5150 stuff.
Okay.
So that's the Skrewface head. Yeah, that was a great band. That was with Sean Weiss. Also, Slap Happy Pappy bass player. And what did I do after that? I moved to Pennsylvania. I got a job managing a music store, giving lessons at the same time, and that was fun. I didn't do Dick for those 5 years. Well, I did Skrewface for a little, but that was about it. You just drive back to New York from Allentown.
Okay.
And then I think the cover bands and Gen Kill.
Okay. All right. Now, when I had Rob Buell on the show, he had mentioned just in passing, we were talking about, you know, bands you guys were in together, and he's like, oh, yeah, you know, Jay's got a master's degree in music. Like, so he just kind of mentioned that in passing, and I didn't know that about you. What made you decide to like pursue that path and make music, you know, what you went to school for?
Well, me and my wife, we moved back to New York from Pennsylvania, and I did not want to paint houses anymore. I'm like, fuck this. So I painted our house. I did all the shit in our house to get it so we can move in. And then after a year, I was like, listen, I want to go back. I want to go back to school.
Okay.
You know, and you know, she's got a doctorate, so she's like, yeah, sure. You know, I had a high school diploma at that point, so I went back to school and I was like, let me see what it's like. I went to Westchester Community, took a couple classes, and actually did well. Because you gotta understand, in high school, I graduated next to last in my class. Thought I was just dumb, And all of a sudden I was like, hey, I got brains I didn't know about. My brothers were like, hey, you're letting your inner geek out, you know? Like all of a sudden I'm getting A's in college. I'm like, okay, you know, well, it's community college, whatever.
Well,
let's see what happens. And I kind of had fun. And I was like, all right, I'm like, let me get my associates. So I got an associate's degree. And I'm like, one of my professors in composition there said, well, I can get you into Lehman in the Bronx. I'm like, okay, you know, set you up with an interview. I'm like, all right. So I went in, aced the interview. Dr. Shockett let me in, and I went. I got my bachelor's in music, and I got my master's in music ed. Just kept going.
There you go.
And, you know, that's why every once in a while they call me professor.
Okay.
I'm like, doing the student teaching was so freaking fun now, because I wanted to do high school, because high school is where you're in the class because you want to be, because you don't have to take it. It's an elective.
It's an elective, yeah.
Right? So I want people that want to be there. I don't want to teach junior high, have a whole bunch of, you know, hormone raging, you know, teenagers going, I don't want to be here! You know, so I was like, you know, I got to teach jazz band in that school, and I got to do, I did music theory classes, the big band. It was fun, you know. I got to bring my guitar in and jam with them.
Nice.
You know, especially with the jazz band.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's all I did in Lehman.
Okay.
You know, I got to play with Bob Stewart. If anybody wants to look him up, Bob Stewart is one of the most amazing tuba players. Not that huge freaking thing that you put your head through.
Yeah.
Just so you know. It has 4 valves. It's a little smaller. It's still a big instrument, but that guy is just a badass tuba player, and he was my professor, and he didn't know I can play guitar because I sucked at jazz. So I'm in class trying to just fake my way through these jazz standards, and everybody's like, why don't you know this stuff? It's a standard. I go, do you know how to play Highway to Hell? I'm like, that's my standard.
Okay.
I'm like, do you know how to play Seek and Destroy? You know, like, those are my standards. So, like, you know, standards are different to every genre. So, you know, we're doing a blues in class, and he goes, okay, the guitar players, you know, you guys, it's a blues. Why don't you take a solo? Never soloed in a class, right? So I'm like, okay. So we play the head and go into the solo, and I play the solo. After I finish, he stops the band and goes, whoa, you can play like that? He goes, I expect so much more of you now, man. You ruined it for yourself. So I got screwed and had to go home and woodshed all these freaking 9/11 and 13 chords, and it meant it. I was like, I knew the theory behind it, but I never applied it to guitar.
Okay.
So I just sat on the floor for like hours, making my way through each chord in all these jazz pieces, and I'm like, 2 days later, I show up to class, and he goes, well, did you learn them? I'm like, of course I did. And then let him know it took me 8 hours of my time to get this shit down. But that's the reason why I know jazz, because that guy drilled me every freaking class, and he was amazing. If anybody loves learning music, you know, like on their instrument, you know, this guy, he would tell you what piece he was doing. He would give you the history behind the piece, and then he would give you a theory lesson on the piece, and then you'd play it.
Okay.
And by the time you got to play it, you actually understood what the fuck it was about. And all the trumpet players, man, when I finished that solo, I gotta go back to that. When I finished that solo, all the trumpet players, they're all ringers. They're all from the neighborhood. They're all like 70 years old. They jump up. They're like, I know he can fucking play. Because in case you guys don't know any trumpet players, they're fucking lead guitar players.
Okay.
They're the same. They're just like me. They're the same personality. Just ridiculously outspoken and loud.
Okay.
That's the trumpet player. That's
right.
and I kind of knew that because I played trumpet in elementary school.
I never played I played like saxophone in 4th grade, and then like joined the chorus in middle school because they went to Six Flags, and that was cool.
Oh yeah.
And then like I always bring this up, you know, if it's relevant. Like a friend of mine and I in high school tried to start a band, and then like he knocked up a chick, and I went to college, and that was kind of the end of that.
Yeah. The knocking up the chicks in high school was a kind of that was a big thing in Spring Valley.
Yeah, I mean,
not with me.
Yeah, no, I mean we were out of high school, we were in college by then, but like we were like writing real shitty poetry and was like, oh, these are gonna be our songs, and then like he knew a little bit of guitar, and then so by the time we finished high school and we're in college, like we were going to community college together to Sussex County, because we were in Jersey, and like we got like one song that was like good enough for just the two of us without like the rest of having any other band members.
Right.
And then we finished, he dropped out of community college, met a girl and got her pregnant. I finished and then went, to a university, and I was like, all right, well, we don't really have time to do this anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, college, it's actually an experience that I think everybody should go through. Whether you want to be a mechanic, like, look, I did all the day jobs where I was painting or I was pipe fitting or I was doing whatever. So I'm like, I have nothing against, physical labor as a living. But, I got to the point where I was like, oh, geez, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I don't want to go, 40 feet up on a ladder and get stung by bees as I'm taking shutters off. I'm done with that. And after you don't do it for a while, you're really done with it. You're like, okay, no, fuck this. But it's like I have all those skills, though. So in my own house, I could sweat pipe, redid my entire house. I ripped apart my bathroom. My father-in-law helped me put the new shower in. We just, so we did all this crap. But that's all stuff I learned as I was growing up, not wanting to have a, quote, real job, end quote, while I played music.
See, I don't know any of this stuff, and I bought a house a year and a half ago, and it's like, fuck.
Do you have the Home Depot book?
No, not yet, but maybe
that actually saved me a couple times, and it's actually a good book.
So I called my dad the other day. I was like, what do I do about this? He's like, fucking Google it. I was like, but you know what you're doing. He's like, fucking Google it.
Right. I don't Google anything unless it comes to mechanics. Like my snowblower, when that crapped out, I was like, okay, what happens when your snowblower does this? Like, well, you got to take it apart and check out. And I'm like, no, I bought a new one.
Fair enough. So we got to, Generation Kill, and it looks like that band started in 2008. How did that band come together?
Well, I believe it was Dukes and Machete got together. Dukes was like on some downtime with the Exodus, wanted to do something with friends.
Okay.
So he talked to Rob, and Rob got Dante Socia involved from aforementioned Undivided, and Louie involved, and they wanted Jim DiMaria, but Jim was doing something else, and they called me. Dante's like, look, if you're going to have Louie and Trenzer in the band, there's no place for me. He goes, I'm not playing guitar in a band with those two fucking guys. He's very low self-esteem about his guitar playing, but he's an awesome guitar player. His rhythms are just ridiculous. He's like Hetfield with the right hand. I mean, seriously, he's really good. He just doesn't have any confidence when it comes to lead playing. Okay. But anyway, so it ended up being the four of us, and then we got Sam and Zara from Mortician play drums, and so he played on, and we were just writing songs, man. Yeah, just wrote a bunch of stuff, recorded it with Johnny Rod at Johnny Rod Productions. He's freaking awesome. Dukes did like a lot of vocals for Exodus there. He did the Let There Be Blood. He did all the vocals with Rod.
Okay.
So John Smith, he was actually here tonight too, because he knows all of us in Trenzer.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how it started.
Okay. All right. And then Generation Kill also collaborated with Daryl McDaniels, DMC, for Run DMC.
Yeah.
On Fragile Mortals. You guys released an album in 2017. I was wondering if there was any chance of that happening again. It looks like now he's in another rock band called DMC and the Hellraisers that are going to be playing here at Dingbatz.
Yeah, I know. I got to come see him. I'm going to come dressed like him, though. I found a costume on Amazon.
Okay.
The glasses, the hat, and the gold chain.
Nice.
Just to fuck with him. No, I love that guy. He's when it happened, because Dukes was playing some festival in California, and he was staying here in New York still. Okay. Dukes was still living in New York. Daryl lives in Jersey.
Okay.
So they were on the same. They met each other. I think the same flight or similar, in the same place in the airport.
Yeah.
And Duke's like, dude, I can't believe you're here. I'm a big fan. And he gave him the new album, which was We're All Gonna Die. And Daryl's like, hey, I want to write a song with you. And he gave him his number. Daryl called him. It's like, hey, I want to write a song with you guys. One song. That's what it started as.
Right.
because there's a song on there, Carney Love, and he wanted something similar. And I'm constantly writing. So I had written this piece that was called Stoner Bass.
Okay.
And that turned into Lot Lizard.
Okay.
So it's like half of that, like I wrote the bass line, I wrote like pretty much the verses, and I was like, hey, Machete, check this out. This is perfect for what Daryl was explaining. And then we just pieced it together with some of Jason Velez's riffs that he had, and then all of a sudden we had a song. And then, but we kept writing, and the next thing you know, Daryl's like, hey, why don't we just do a whole album? Okay. I have to work with Daryl McDaniels.
Yeah.
Freaking, rock star in his own right.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. And then they brought in Ron Thal, Bumblefoot, and those guys are talking to me like I don't know who the fuck he is. I'm like, dude, we got this guy Ron Thal. I'm like, you got Bumblefoot? Oh, do you know who he is? I'm like, I've been listening to him for fucking 15 years, dude. I'm like, that's Bad Ronald. Fucking blew Phil Collins from Def Leppard's mind when he played like Billy Joel back in... that goes... I'm not getting into Ron's fucking career. Anyway,
No, I know who he is. I'm familiar.
But Ron, he was like an idol of mine. And then I got to work with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, you fucking kidding me? And I'm trying not to fan out on the guy the first time we met.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, so, and I just started talking to him. And I'm like, okay, can I ask him a question about how to play reel? Do you think he'd mind? I'm like, can you teach me how to play reel? I kind of have this. He's like, oh, no, it goes like this. And he's like so free with his... With whatever wisdom he has. He doesn't give a crap. And those are... Like, I would drive an hour and 45 minutes to his freaking house in Jersey just so I can play a solo in his home studio.
Nice.
Just to hang with him. I was like, I did not care. It was the most fun. I actually have a couple of those sessions on the video.
Nice.
And it's the most boring shit to anybody but me. Freaking amazing. I got to work with him. I love the guy. He showed me how to use the thimble.
Okay.
And so I started using that. I don't use it for anything else but for my own fun, because that's his thing. But I have been wanting to play a fretless guitar forever. When I played his double neck, I was like, dude, I have to get one of these. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, dude, when are you going to sell me one of those? Because I'm not buying a new one. They're too fucking expensive.
Right.
I'm like, you don't even have to sign it. I don't even care if people know it's yours. I just want one for less money.
Right. But so do you think there's any chance of Fragile Mortals being a thing again?
Doing a thing? Well, if it is, it's not going to be with Rob Machete.
Well, right.
So if we redo it, I don't know what songs would stay, what songs wouldn't stay. I would love to go take it out on the road because Daryl commands some cash.
Yeah.
And it's always fun playing with him. And if I have to go out and buy a double B-foot VGA guitar, oh well. It's like I played his fretless parts with a slide or a whammy bar.
Okay.
That's the only way I can do it without having an actual fretless guitar.
Yeah, I never got to see because I know you guys played here. I think at least.
Yeah,
once.
we played here once. That was when Robbie Freak was still here, and yeah, that was a fun show. We played a bunch of times. I think where else did he play with us? Oh, Ron did a music fest with us in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, Daryl, the way he got us on that was Run DMC was playing the night before.
Okay.
And he told the promoters, I'll only do it if my band Fragile Mortals gets to play. And they did it. So we saw them like Friday night and Saturday we played for free. Like the main, like a stage facing like the Yingling Pavilion. If anybody knows that.
Okay.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right in front of the steel stacks. Awesome show. And we got DJ Chan. We got Chan to play also.
Nice.
So this is huge freaking band up on stage playing this like rap metal-ish like weirdness, and all. It's like and people are walking by and they're like have no clue who's on stage with us.
Right.
I'm like, that's Daryl. That's Bumblefoot. I'm like, that's DJ Jan. I'm like, come on. I'm like, he's the one who's doing, the walk this way. That's him. And that was so much fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun working with those guys.
Well, I definitely hope that, like I said, I'd love to see it or hear more music from it. Speaking of other bands that you did in 2017, you and Rob Machete and Rob Yules were in the band The Pain Method, and Machete and Yules departed Genkill at that time. But as far as it seemed, you didn't. Was that awkward at all that you were technically still? No. Okay.
No, Yules didn't really. I don't think Yules really left either. It was just this weird thing because
you don't want to get into it. You don't have to.
Nah, it's just a lot of crap, and I don't want to. No one needs to really hear that.
Fair enough.
You want to hear that crap? Go to TMZ.
Fair enough. I just thought it was weird at the time because I was like, it looks like he's still, because there was like band photos that you were still in, and those. I was like,
it was just a weird time, and Generation Kill was kind of like, it was like a break for everybody, and all of a sudden I have one cover band and that's all I had. So I actually went to see Ron Thal when he was doing Asia.
Okay.
Right? They were playing in Westchester Center. It was like 10 minutes from my house. So I went over to see him, and I'm like, dude, what's up? I'm coming tonight. No one else can make it. It's just me. And he's like, all right, I'll meet you after the show, and we'll go hang out. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, dude, I got a cover band. I need a new original band. I need something. You got anything for me? He goes, no, I don't, but just put yourself out there and don't say no. Next thing I know, I'm in 6 fucking bands. I'm like, okay. I'm like, fuck you, Ron, man. You just screwed me up. Like, I got no time for anything, man. So I got 3 original bands now and 3 cover bands.
Okay, wow. So as far as, we're not going to get into it because it sounds like, you'd rather not, and that's fine. But so you guys were in the Pain Method.
Correct. Didn't
really last too long, but Will from Thanatotic was also in the Pain Method.
Correct.
And then when that split, you joined Thanatotic Desire.
Well, it was just kind of, just worked out that I was doing just the cover bands. And Ben, the other guitar player, quit at the same time. And then I was on Facebook, just scrolling through. And just so you people know, when I'm on Facebook, any post I'm on the shitter. So I'm on the shitter. I'm looking at Facebook, and I see Thanatotic Desire needs a lead guitar player. I'm like, oh, fucking Will. All right. I filled out the form, and he texts me, and he goes, are you fucking serious? Like, what? He goes, you filled out the form. I'm like, what was it supposed to do? He goes, we're friends. You fucking text me. You call me. So I couldn't. At the beginning, it was really hard figuring out some of those songs, and I kept going on YouTube and like slowing it down. So I'm figuring out these songs, and I just never felt like I had them good enough to try out. So I kept pushing it off, and Dave and Mace were like, dude, what the fuck's up with this guy? Now he wants to do it next week? Fuck him. I'm giving him one more week, and that's it. And I actually showed up, and I tried out, and they're like, okay, he's in. But it was funny, because, it's like when you're recording 2 guitar players, most of the time one guy's in one speaker and one guy's in the other speaker.
Right.
So what they did is they switched them around for the next album. So I figured out all of Mace's parts. So the 2 of us are playing unison stuff through the whole song. And, it's harmonies through the entire song for the most part. And I'm like, I figured out all of his stuff. And I'm like, great. Now I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out all fucking Ben stuff. And then I cursed Ben out because of his sweep picking, because that was the first time I ever learned how to do that, was trying to figure out his solos.
Okay.
Because I like Yngwie Malmsteen, but I don't want to play like him.
Fair enough.
I was always more of a, I guess the blues guy.
Okay.
I like the bluesier guys. I like Satriani. I love Eddie Van Halen. I love Zach. Dimebag. Come on, just name those type of guys. Billy Gibbons and Randy Rhoads. And I wanted to play guitar when I was a kid because of Ace Frehley. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, that guy's guitar smokes. I'm like, his guitar is smoking. That guy's spitting fire. I want to do that. My dad's like in the background going, Eli, turn off these communists. They're Satan worshiping communists. I'm like, 6 years old going, I want to do that, Dad.
So thinking about it, I think that because you were the most recent member of Thanatotic, you're the only one until now that had not been on the show.
Oh, okay.
And I think that you're also, like, the final lineup of Pain Method, you're also the final member of that because I've had everybody else on the show.
Cool.
You're, like, completing the...
Did you have everybody in Generation Kill?
No, I've not had everybody in Generation
Oh,
Kill.
so
No.
I'm not the last in that one.
I think that you're, Yules, Mace plays with you guys live at least, and he's, there was... Before you joined, they did their Decade of Desire show.
Right.
And so I had everybody on.
I was actually playing that day. I couldn't go. I was playing the show that day, too.
Like, I interviewed, like, everybody, all of the then current and the former members. Like,
nice.
Took, like, turns in between
the
bands
first singer and everything?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right now. He's really cool. I think he came up when we played Lucky 13. He came up and sang one of Final Breath or something.
Yeah, it's always cool when they do that. But yeah, so like I said, we're kind of completing the lineups here.
Nice.
So you're in another band. You mentioned you've 3 original bands. You said, right?
Correct.
Which was Trenzer, which played tonight.
Right.
Looks like that's just your last name spelled a little different.
Yeah, missing the C. That was those guys. The other 3 guys.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you wrate all the songs. You might as well just call it Trenzer. I'm like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, can't we call it anything else?
What's funny is I didn't realize when I saw this show come out, Thanatotic, and I didn't even put it together. And then I saw something else on Facebook. I was like, oh, duh. Like, of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the C throws people off, and actually, that's like if someone spells my name, they spell it like that.
Yeah, okay. That's what I figured. I figured that you just did that for ease of not fucking it up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now you can spell it. It's phonetically. It's spelled phonetically. There you go. Which is kind of weird because phonetically is not spelled phonetically.
It's true. So how did that band come together?
Oh, well, I was doing nothing before. It was in between everything, before Thanatotic and everything. So it was like 2019, and okay, I got this wrong. So the other day, because I did speak to Adam, the bass player, Adam Bronner, about, like, for years. I was like, dude, I got these tunes. I want you to, because we've been friends forever, never played in a band together.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, I want you to hear some of this stuff. So I played it for him, and he's like, dude, you got to send it to me. It's awesome. And then years would go by, and I finally was like, okay, I got nothing going on. Let me send him. I'm like, Adam, I'm going to send this to you. And he's like, okay, listen, I'm going to send this shit to Forrest, too. See if he wants in. And I was like, okay. And all of a sudden, the 3 of us were jamming. And I just kept throwing it, like, after we got one song, I'd throw out another one. My shitty drum beats and everything. And I programmed them. And then I started sending Forrest stuff with guitar in one ear and click track in the other ear, and just going, here you go, man, write your drum beats, Okay. And then they never even changed anything. Only until we got Dave in the band, and that was, like, fucking last year. We were together for, like, we were just jamming, like, whenever, like every other month for, like, 2 years.
Okay.
Just getting together, and COVID hit and everything, and that fucked everything up.
So how would you say that the sound, I really enjoy this, how would you say that the sound of Trenzer compares to your other projects, or what other bands, for people that have never heard the band before?
It's kind of, like, because I wrote a lot of the stuff for Bad Seed also, the music.
Okay.
So that was kind of like Black Sabbath-y with Alice in Chains, like, vocal harmonies, because Alice in Chains was awesome. Yeah. And they were big back then in 95. So we were like, yeah, let's jump on the bandwagon and do some, double and triple harmonies here, But this band, we don't do the vocal harmonies like that. But Dave is such a good freaking singer.
Yeah.
I just kind of let him do whatever he wants over it. And it was like, there's a song that we played tonight that it was supposed to be the like guitar solo at the end, and I didn't put the guitar solo on yet because I wanted him to get his vocals on.
Yeah.
And then, because I want to play something and then have it out of key with what he's doing.
Right.
Like vocals and lead guitar, because, you're both doing some of the soprano melody parts. So he just sang this whole fucking thing, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing a solo now. That's awesome. So it's like, but the Sabbath-y one, I don't know the names of all these songs, though. unless they're on paper. Unless I look at them and I go, oh yeah, all right. Because I'm still calling them what we've been calling them for 3 years now.
Right.
So this is one song I wrote when 13 came out from Sabbath.
Okay.
And I was like, this is such a fucking killer album. And I was like, so I wanted to write a song that would fit on that album for some reason. And that's one of these songs.
Okay.
I'm actually going to have to look it up so I can freaking tell you. Ride of Lies, that's the Sabbath song. Okay. When you listen to it, it's fucking Black Sabbath.
Okay.
So that one's a Sabbath-like song. Then there's another song on here, which is kind of like, I was writing, Eddie Leeway needed some music.
Okay.
And he asked Dank, who was in the band at the time, to get some stuff together. And Dank's like, hey, you guys want to write some music? And I was like, okay. And I was supposed to send it to Laz from El Nino.
Okay.
And
love that band.
So, but I sent my stuff to Machete, and I found out, well, years later, after we stopped speaking, that he didn't send any of it to Laz.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, okay, fine. So that's a place for us. That's the lyric video that we have out now. That happened. That song was called Leeway. So fucking long.
Okay.
But that's how shit comes about. You know, it's like I write a song, and it just kind of doesn't fit a band that I'm playing with. It just stays there.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, what do you guys think of this? And I just throw out songs. I'm like, got this one, I got this one, I got this one. I got
stuff
this.
to, like a portfolio.
Yeah, I kind of wanted it to be like a stoner band. You know, like, obviously, Sabbath, Sleep, Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
You know, like bands like that where you can get a little weird, you get a little trippy, but it's all like, you know, it's like you can go on a riff for like fucking 10 minutes and just make people zone out without even being high. That's the type of band I wanted, and it just kind of expanded a little bit more than that. But Sabbath, I guess one is kind of Alice in Chainsy. You got some Leeway in there. I don't know.
Well, and then tonight you guys covered Ozzy and you covered Van Halen.
Yeah, and those weren't even my picks, and those are two of my favorite guitar players.
All right.
That was Forrest, the drummer. I met him in '87, right out of first round in college, and we've never played in a band together, but we've always talked about it. And same thing with Adam. Adam and Dave, I know they were in my grade in high school too, so we've all been friends since.
Like 40 years.
Yeah, like 84.
Jeez.
It's fucking forever. It's awesome because, you know, we've always been friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like there's been a fight, we got together, we just met this guy, whatever. It's no, we've been friends and we all respect each other, even though insults fly like constantly.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how you know you're good friends.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to get into that, but Forrest also plays with me in Fug It with Dank.
Okay.
And
is that one of the cover bands?
That's one of the cover bands. And we actually wrote 2 originals. 2 more Leeway songs I wrote for him. I'm just going to say this because Forrest doesn't want me to. Dank goes, "Drum, Forrest, drum." And Scene who plays bass with him in the other band goes, "Why the fuck did I never thought of that? Holy shit, what's wrong with me?" Drum, Forrest, drum. Every fucking rehearsal. Okay.
So what are your other, I was going to ask if there's any other bands that you should know about, or that the fans should know about. You said you're in 3 cover bands, so what are your other 2?
Okay, well, Fug It is one. We play mainly heavier rock, metal, you know, Sabbath and Priest and Slayer and stuff like that. But we also have a keyboard player.
Okay.
Which is fucking hysterical. It's awesome. He plays the harmonized parts in like Rain and Blood. And so we're playing Postmortem, Rain and Blood, and there's fucking this distorted Hammond organ sound going on. It's awesome. You know, and it's great because we get to do, you know, Deep Purple. And, you know, we're doing Highway Stars, Smoke on the Water or something, and he's playing keys. I fucking love it. You know? So I said that because the other band I'm in, Steve and Dank are both in also. Steve is the keyboard player in Fug It. Okay. And Dank plays bass in this band too. And Steve was playing some Doors at one of our... He thought it was only a metal player. But I'm like, dude, I can play all that stuff. I grew up on that, you know? So I'm like playing all of a sudden I started playing the Doors with him. And he goes, "Do you know this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know that song." And I start playing whatever, you know, Good Lovin' or something like that. And he's like, "You want to be in the Psychedelic Cats?" I'm like, "Okay." Like in my head, I got Ron going, never say no, always say yes. I'm like, okay. So now I'm in the psychedelic cats also. We play all 60s psychedelic music, and it's really fun because I get to use guitars that I don't use for any of the other bands. I get to use my Tellys, I get to use my Strat, I get to use my Washburn with the P90s and jazz box, and just, get weird and trippy, use effects that I don't use for any other band, stuff like that. It's just fun. And then the third one is Vinyl Meltdown, which I put together back in 2004. And that's with my buddy Greg from high school, too, who I played in Oblivion. We didn't even spell it correctly. It's Oblivion. Yeah. But we spelt it Oblivion because we wanted the A and the N to be the Metallica logo.
Okay.
And you can't do that with an O.
Oh, yeah, not really.
So we were Oblivion. But Greg was the singer in that band, so we've been friends all this whole time too. And so that's Vinyl Meltdown. We play out a lot of everything from country to freaking metal.
Okay.
Everything in the middle.
Not sure how I've not crossed paths with any of these bands before.
Well, we usually don't play in Jersey, that's why.
I don't know, that would explain it. You're more up in
in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't play in Shithatton or anything like that.
I'm not too far, I'm in North Jersey, so I'm not too far from
here. No.
Like I work in Middletown.
No, okay. Well, we play in Pearl River a lot, That's right on the border.
Yeah. So, I used to work in Mawa, so I'm
familiar with that. Yeah, so we play Pearl River, we play Nyack, we play in Westchester. So
okay. I'll have to keep an eye out. So I'm going to ask you now the same question that I ask everybody that's ever been on the show, which is, how do you feel about the current state of where the music industry is?
Sucks balls.
Well, there we go.
There you go. It sucks balls, mainly because people don't want to come to shows, especially after COVID, and it wasn't that. It's actually gotten better since COVID. But the thing is that you can get, like, Generation Kill puts out an album, right? The next fucking day, it's all online.
Right.
You can listen to everything for free. You can burn it. Everybody has the the YouTube to MP3 converter, So someone puts it on YouTube, everybody has it for free. A band like us doesn't make a shit ton of money on our music anyway, even if we sold CDs, But it doesn't even seem like people come to the shows, they don't want to get in for free, and then they want free shirts, and I'm like, dude, at least if you're going to steal the music, come to a show, pay to get in, buy a fucking shirt.
Right.
Buy a hat, buy a coaster. Do something to support the band.
Right.
Otherwise, we're not going to put music out anymore. I mean, I'll just play in cover bands, because I make money with them.
Yeah.
It
seems to be a thing. Like I was texting somebody before, the previous guest on the show, who's looking for a drummer to play in a System of a Down cover band.
Right. Cover bands make a shit ton of money. And I was like, do you know I tried to join an AC/DC tribute band at one point?
Oh, yeah?
Back in the 90s? Because I know every AC/DC song.
Okay.
And the guy saw me and said no because I was too big.
Okay.
I wasn't even fat. I was like 150 pounds, 160 pounds. And I'm like 230 now.
Right.
But like, I was skinny. I had the hair, but I was just too tall. I'm like, and I'm only 5'9". I'm not a tall dude.
Right.
But I was too big to be Angus Young.
Right, because that's the thing with tribute band versus cover band. Cover band, you can look like whatever tribute band they want you to play the part.
So I'm like, okay. I'm like, fuck you guys. I don't even know who they are anymore, but it was back in the 90s, and I was like, man, that would be fucking cool. Because I know all the Angus stuff. I know all his moves and everything. I cut my jeans back in junior high so I can have shorts like him. And my first guitar was an SG I bought from my friend in 9th grade, which was cool because I bought the guitar and I had saved up like $350 from birthdays and everything. And I took that out and I bought the guitar for $300 for my friend. Nice. Josh Lungin, if you're listening. So, and then my dad saved up enough money. He wanted to go cross country with the family. Pop-up tent, the whole thing.
Yeah.
He bought a fucking Dodge Aries station wagon. Got a pop-up tent and piled us, the three of us kids in there, my mom, and we went cross country.
Okay.
So that's why I started playing guitar in 10th grade.
Okay, all right.
Because I was in Kentucky. Yeah, we didn't make it to California though. We turned around in Arizona because we were kids. I was 13, whatever.
Yeah.
But, we wanted to go to Disney. We were going to Florida.
But and then the last thing is just what's next for you and all of your bands. I know that last year Jen Kill put out a new album. With Trenzer, you guys just put out a 5-song EP.
Correct.
And with Thanatotic Desire, you guys have been releasing new singles.
Right, because that seems to be the easiest way to go about it. It
Fair
really
enough.
does.
Yeah.
It's for being a self-contained unit and having everything that we do in-house, like the recordings, the albums, the releases. Will does it all. Will is like the mastermind behind all of it, Doc Watch Hollows.
Yeah. I asked him about that. Will was on the 4th episode of this podcast, and I asked him all about that back then.
So Doc Watch Hollows, it's all fucking Will. He does all of that stuff, so it seems to be the best way to go about it. And just watch all the famous musicians, like I don't know, name someone. Taylor Swift, there you go.
Okay.
She releases like 3-4 singles and then an album comes out.
Right,
you know what I mean? So we figured, why not? Let's try this.
Okay.
Nothing else, release albums. Again, no one buys them. One person buys it, puts it on fucking YouTube. Except, thing is, with the New Generation Kill album, you don't get the hidden track if you buy it online. You have to buy the actual physical CD.
I guess it's a good thing I have one.
So there you go. Did you ever listen past La Fin de Monde?
I think I listened to the whole thing.
You got to let La Fin de Monde go like 7 minutes after.
Yeah, I listened to it the day because I'm going to be honest, I didn't buy it. Yules gave it to me.
Okay.
But he, when I had him on the podcast, he gave me a copy, and I listened to it on the drive home. I saw you at that show when he was playing with Evolution Empire. With
yeah.
Olino.
Oh, that was fucking great, man.
Yeah.
And Head PE's playing here.
Yes, they are.
I love Head PE.
Yeah, so I missed them because I was interviewing him outside the venue.
Oh,
in the
okay. Yeah, I remember that.
City. But he gave me the album, and I listened to it on the drive home.
But so you didn't get to the end of it?
I think I did. I mean, I was driving from the city to North Jersey. I think I got all the way through.
Oh, okay. Well, unless you heard something really odd after La Fin de Monde,
I'm going to have to go back and check it out.
You're going to have to listen to it. It's freaking cool. And just to let everybody know, if they actually did hear that, there are no keyboards on it. That's all me. I did everything but the bass and drums and vocals.
Okay.
So when you hear like keyboard stuff, that's just me fucking around on guitar.
All right.
I literally layered, I think there's like 26 tracks of guitar on that.
Oh, jeez.
Because the last chord in that song is literally hands mashed on a keyboard. So like 44 notes of just blah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that. So I played as many as I could on each track, like that my fingers could grab, and I would write down which ones that I did already, and then I would do the next track, and I had like 16 tracks of that.
Wow.
It's fucking fun though. I love it. When you have unlimited time and unlimited tracks on Pro Tools or something, it's just fun.
It sounds like it. So, are you working on, like Thanatotic, like I said, you guys are doing singles.
Right.
Trenzer, you guys just put out the EP. Jen Kill, you guys had the album last year. I know that Will keeps posting all the shit he's got going on, but he's in Thanatotic and Whiplash. So I know that you guys have at least a couple shows, but so what's sort of the plans going forward as far as shows, music?
Well, we're going to say, it's like since we, Will is in Whiplash, fingers crossed, maybe something will come of a tour with that, with Jen Kill, which would be really fun. And then there's actually, now you only have one member left to make Thanatotic on that show. Hint, hint, Tony.
Well, yeah, because Mace is playing with you guys.
Right. So it's like, well, you already have the guitar players and the Will, and then, wait a minute, we need a drummer. Maybe he can be drum tech.
There you go.
Tony, I'm looking in your direction. Fucking funny. I love that guy. One time he comes over to me after a Jen Kill show we played here. He comes over, and it kind of bugged me out because I know who he is. Mm-hmm. And before I played guitar, I had a Whiplash album. Okay, so you gotta understand it. Like that goes way back.
Right.
And I'm like, all I saw was this guy with a handlebar mustache, and I bought the album. I was like, okay, this guy looks cool. And I was like, holy shit. And then that guy is standing in front of me watching me play solos, and I'm going, okay, this is freaking me the fuck out. And then, but he wanted to do a full out shred album with me.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. That's what I said. I'm like, okay, when do you want to do it? I think he was just drunk, but it was fun. I love the guy. I'm like, if he was like, dude, I want you to play in Whiplash. Okay, I'm not saying no.
Well, no, that's the ethos, right?
That's the ethos. Don't say no. It's the fuck Nancy Reagan, man. Just say yes. I don't know. Most people are listening.
No,
It's gonna be like, who the fuck is Nancy Reagan? Is she in that band with? All right.
Well, but I knew, despite the difference in age, I knew where you were going with that.
Okay.
I got it.
I'm all too familiar with that. Me and my friend tried to pry the weed out of the box. With the little booklet, the book thing that they get there. They came over to school. My friend, I'm like, Don, you got your pocket knife? Can we pop this up? I'm like, let's get some weed.
Well, that's like when I remember when I was not to go too far off but when I was in middle school, they had us take this, like, it was a anonymous survey. They wanted to gauge, like, drug use amongst fucking middle schoolers.
Right.
And, like, there's all these questions on here about, like, abusing, like, prescriptions and shit. I didn't know that was a thing you could do till I took this fucking survey.
And now you're like, oh, what does mom have in the cabinet?
It's like, oh, I had no idea. And it wasn't a thing that I went ahead and did, but, like, the idea wasn't even in my head until the school's like, here, take this survey about drug use.
I had no clue about prescription drugs until I was, like, 24, 25. And then my friend of mine was like, yo, look what I got from my mom. I'm like, what'd you get from your mom? Well, I took him from her, and he has a bottle of Valiums.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what do we do with them? And he's like, well, take one and chug a beer. I'm like, okay. And we're like, I get like drooling. Like, okay, this is not fun. Like, I'm never into it, man. I tried it.
I just remember distinctly that the survey thing had mentioned codeine, and my dad had just gotten hurt at work and was on it.
Tylenol with codeine.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, so all right, well, whatever. Like, and again, I didn't do anything with it, but again, I never even would have thought until they were like, here, let's take this thing.
Yeah, when I was back in Mutilation, we were just a bunch of fucking fuck ups. So that was fun though. We got to play with a bunch of bands back then. Man, I was just one of my students in Pedico. I think that's how you say it. I'm like, they're from like Chicago or something. And I was like, I'm listening to them and I'm looking at the pictures of them on YouTube and I'm going, I think I played with these guys. I'm like, the album was from like 91. And I was like, I think I know them. I think Mutilation played with these guys. I'm like, and I'm figuring out the song and I'm like, I don't know, man. Just really weird. Like, one of my students loves getting into like late 80s, early 90s thrash metal. Yeah. And he keeps sending me stuff I've never heard of.
Wow.
Like Brazilian stuff. And I'm like, but it's from that same time. I'm like, I know this song. I'm like, why do I know this song? I'm like, holy shit. Okay, well, I guess I did play with them.
Well, it's like I was trying to figure out when I was listening to the Trenzer single. As soon as it started, and as soon as I heard the singer, I was like, do I know this guy from somewhere? This guy sounds really familiar to me. And I still can't figure out what it sounds like to me, but it sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, Dave used to sing, well, he wrote his own songs back right out of high school, somewhere in the mid-90s, I guess. And I always thought his songs sounded like the Foo Fighters. Okay. So he's Dave Foo. Okay. Because we knew so many Daves. All right. There was like, okay, you're Dave Foo. He's in my phone as Dave Foo. Yeah, he sings in a cover band too. Him and Adam are in a different cover band together. Okay. So like we're all just like, why don't we get Dave to sing? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, let's get him to sing, man. I'm like, thank God I fucking said it.
All right, man. Well, that's all I've got for you. I want to thank you for your time. You've already had a busy night. You played 2 sets. Yeah. Taken how the fuck long have you been doing? An hour with me?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go drink now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna join you.
All righty then.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
And that was Thanatotic Desire with their latest single, Nobody Makes It Out Alive. I want to thank Jay Trenczer for being on the show. If you want to follow his many projects on social media, because there are so many of them, I'm going to include the links in the description of the episode. But all of his current bands are Generation Kill, Thanatotic Desire, and Trenzer. Those are the original music bands, and then the cover bands are Fug It, Vinyl Meltdown, and the Psychedelic Cats. If you want to follow J Bunny's Music Hub on social media, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. There is still a TikTok that's not got much there, but it still exists. And don't forget also, if you believe in supporting music the way that I do by buying it, you can also follow Industry Embers at Industry Embers on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure to tweet or post your music purchases with the hashtag BuyMusic, B-U-Y, or it's BuyMusic, B-Y-E. Now, as for what is next for the show, I've always got emails in and out trying to get guests on the show. We have a few things that are pending. As always, I'm not going to say who it is until it is recorded, just in case it doesn't end up happening. Still remember the one time I told somebody, hey, I'm getting this person on the show, and then like the day of it got canceled, and that was 4 years ago, and I've never been able to reschedule that interview. So yeah, don't disclose until it's done. So I think that is really all that I've got for you guys today. I'm going to leave you with the opening track from the Trenzer EP Eponymous. This is A Place for Us. Until next time, guys.
No rhyme to say That's all there is.